So brand new to the ToughBuilt range is the StackTech system. This is available from Protrade from mid-August 2025. So we thought, what's the best way to put it through its paces than to do a durability test? So we've got Alex with us from ToughBuilt. He's got a series of tests we're going to put it through and see how we get on. Alex, how do you think it will fare?
Do you know, I think it'll do some of the tests really well. I think it'll sail through a lot of the tests you've got planned, but you've got some brutal stuff coming for this. So fingers crossed, it'll fare really well. Like ToughBuilt by name, ToughBuilt by nature.
So let's find out. It's time for test one. So for test one, we're going to do a drop test. On the job site, going to or unloading the van, vehicle, truck, it's inevitable it's going to get knocked and dropped. So Alex is going to take one of the boxes. We're probably going to use the middle one for this test, and he's going to hold it to around chest height, and we'll do a drop test, see how it gets on.
Fantastic. This gives me a really good opportunity to actually show you how easy StackTech comes apart and even goes back together before we drop it. So going over to the 3-piece StackTech system, these little locking hatches just push over. That will stay unlocked until you lift the box on and place it back in, at which it'll automatically lock itself again. So we're going to get the middle box, take the first one off, and then we'll unlock the middle one and take the middle one off. And then now for the first test.
So it looks like that went really well. No damage at all, really.
Didn't do bad at all. I think we'll just check the lid as well. That still opens. And everything is still good inside.
Perfectly fine. One of the big selling features of the StackTech system is the reinforced corners. So I reckon as a part B to this test, let's drop it on the corner.
Excellent. So now we've been asked to drop it and up the ante, so a little bit higher onto a corner.
So, summary of the damage, very little to be honest. We've got a bit of marking down here. This obviously metal reinforced corner, so a little bit of grazing from the tarmac and the plastic. Little mark there, but that's still functioning perfectly fine. Overall, outside looks spot on.
Still works, still fits in.
I can't see any cracks, no breakages.
But I think what we should do is stack it back
Drop it on
the roller box.
I'd say that's locked on, pretty damn solid. Let's move on to test two. So for test two, we're going to do a general wear and tear. Now, obviously we haven't got months and months to produce this video. So instead of seeing what day-to-day damage we could do, we're just going to be a bit rough, throw bits in, shake it about, and I'll be very gentle with it. So we're going to use the bottom box for this, which is the wheeled box. You do have the collapsible handle, making it easier to get in and out your vehicles. Very clever feature of this is the lid will actually lock open, so you don't have to keep hold of it and it won't fall on you at any stage. So yeah, we've got a drill, we've got a hammer, we've got some wet wipes, section of screwdrivers, set of drill bits, tape measure, some rope, and some spanners. Yeah, this box does actually come with a removable tote tray. We just removed it purely so we could sling stuff in, but there it is. And we'll give it a bit of a wheel around, a bit of a shake. So, a little bit rougher than you'd usually be with your toolbox. Let's have a look inside. So we've got the tote tray, completely fine. And all the other tools. I actually can't see a single mark, scuff or anything.
One thing that I would like to point out is a couple of things actually. One, the lid actually holds itself open, which is good. So when you're actually putting your tools in there and getting your tools out, you're not having to hold the lid up yourself.
Yep.
And the second one I'd like to point out is at the back here, where you actually demonstrated the handles will move up and down. Really nice feature of this to pack it and get it into a car rather than a truck or a van is if you pull these clips up, you can actually pull the whole handle off as well.
So for test three, we're going to do a bit of a kickabout and a bit of a knock test on it. You know what it's like on a job site, your hands are full, you need to get something moved, it's on the floor, give it a little kick. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Alex, you look like you've got a good right foot on you, let's give it a go.
Let's try it. But I think it would only be fair to actually put another box on the top. That works.
Well, that was quite a boot from Alex there, but fared up really well. Key thing to point out, the boxes stayed together, they didn't separate. There's a little bit of road rash on it, as you'd expect, mostly dust, taking a little bit of the anodising off just on that edge, but I wouldn't really call that any damage for the boot and the slide it took over the tarmac. Yeah, what do you reckon, Alex?
I think that did quite well. I think, again, the proof in the pudding is actually seeing if the boxes will separate now as well. So there's the lock, I've undone the lock, and the box is off. And it still locates back into position as easy as it would when it was brand new.
So for test 4, it's a weight test. Alex is sat in his truck. What we're going to do, we're going to place this against the curb just to stop it moving, and we're going to drive his 3.5 ton truck onto almost 3.5 ton, up onto it, and see how it fares. Alex, how do you think it's going to do?
Well, do you know what? I've actually stood on the bigger box than that, you know, and it didn't move. I weigh about 25 kilos, I guess that, you know? And I stood on the middle-sized box. There was no flex in it or anything. So the honest answer is, I don't know. You know, it's a tough box and hopefully it'll stand up, but it's a heavy truck.
That was just it moving. You're on. You're on. You're on it. Well, that was test 4. I think it went really well, but I'll hand over to Alex for a bit of a summary.
Definitely, that went surprisingly well. I honestly didn't think that would cope with the extreme weight, bearing in mind the ton, the truck, not the ton. The truck is nearly 3.5 tons. Like, granted, it's only one corner of it, but you've got the weight of the engine on the front. I think that stood up phenomenally well with very little damage. One thing that I would like to point out, though, is the clip did come off. However, none of this is broken. That clip will actually simply push back in place and lock back in. Clip it back in place, and that's it.
So it's called StackTech.
Yep.
Really important part of that is it stacks.
Look at that, stacks,
and it's
locked back in place. Just try the lock as well, make sure you can unlock it and remove it.
And we're ready to go. And just like that, we're on to test 5. So test 5 is going to be a drag test. The bottom chest of this 3-piece does have wheels to make it easier to load, unload the van, get across the job site, etc. Like a similar test, we're going to make it a bit more extreme. So we've tied it to the back of the ToughBuilt truck. Alex is going to jump in the truck, go for a few laps of the car park, and we'll see what happens.
Go.
So Alex, what do you think will happen?
Well, first of all, I'm a bit confused about the drag test. I bought my costume. I didn't think you meant this. But, do you know, to be fair, all the other tests we've done have been quite extreme. Certainly some of them, certainly parking the truck on it. You know, I think it's just going to eat this little test up.
That's some top tier driving there, Alex.
Oh, of course it was.
You might be the man that can beat Max Verstappen.
Easy.
Easy. Yeah, I think it fared fine. Even your knots survived, which was...
They did. It didn't come off, did it? I think let's untie it, and then let's see. It still rolls. But it still does.
2 wheels, both spinning fine.
Another successful test.
I think that's pretty conclusive. Let's go on to test 6. So for test 6, we're going to be testing the waterproof ability of the StackTech system. We've gone on a bit of an excursion. We've come to the local park and boating lake. We're going to put some tissue paper in there, chuck it in. We'll leave it out there for 30 seconds or so, drag it in, open it up, and hopefully these will all still be dry.
All the StackTech is IP65 rated. And what it does have on here, if we open up the top box, it has a large thick sealing gasket all the way around the lid. So to be fair, I am hopeful this will be a good test for it.
So it floated. So to make it a fair test, I'm going to throw it again and try and land it upside down.
What a shot. That's better. You have a few little drops in there, but we don't know if that came from opening the lid.
My hands are wet from the rope, but if someone with dry hands wants to check the tissue paper.
I'd say that's relatively dry. I'd say that was from when you opened the lid.
Yeah, and I think it
would
dripped
have
off.
thought, because everything else is bone dry.
Not too much of a summary to be had. I think it held up. I think the water is literally from opening the lid. So we'll move on to the final test. So for the final test, test 7, fire. Bit extreme, we know, but let's see what happens. We're going to start a fire inside of it, leave it 30 seconds or so. We've got some tissue paper and rags in there, and then see how the plastic base fares. Got everything to put it out, so it's all nice and safe.
Like the boating lake, you know, everything else it's fared really well with, so I have high hope for this too.
So we've extinguished the fire, we've drained a bit of the water out, moved the bits out of the way, and I'm going to hand it to Alex.
You know, I think, yet again, as with all the other tests, I think that fared really well. I mean, it is essentially plastic, and we can see that there are parts here where the plastic has started to go soft or melted a bit. But I think the important thing in this, it didn't combust, it didn't catch fire and go up in flames. So if you've got your tools in here, your battery tools, your lithium ion battery tools, you know, and there is a short there, they do cause a fire, I think they're going to be pretty safe.
Yeah.
You can actually do something about it relatively quickly and relatively safely.
And worth noting, we actually left it for longer than 30 seconds because we wanted the flames to really take into it. It was probably a minute to 2 minutes easily.
I think so.
Well, I'm really impressed by how this product's held out. I know Alex is too.
Yep.
They are now available to order from Protrade. They'll be with us middle of August 2025. Yeah, Alex, sum up how it's gone.
I think that the proof in the pudding is there, you know, right in front of our eyes.
Yeah.
I think all the tests that we've done, some were pretty easy going on it, some were pretty extreme, you know, and it's fared really, really well. I think what would be a good idea now is when you have your Protrade breakfast mornings at the individual branches, we actually have this on display exactly as it is, so people can have a look for themselves to show that there's been no editing of the footage and likes, and we've been clear with any damage that's been on it.
So do remember, if you're pre-ordering this product with Protrade, use the code TOUGH10 at checkout. That will discount the product by 10% for you. Alex, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate it. And if you did enjoy this video, please do like and subscribe.